I am vengeance. I am the night. I am. Song gets 134.
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
And
I
he's
haven't
wacky.
seen him around the cave recently.
I was gonna be like, and his wacky pals.
You're a friend of mine.
My Archie.
If you haven't caught on yet, after the review that by the time this comes up, it will be out.
Yeah.
Which is Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2. After that, we kind of decided, you know, we'd put this off for a long time.
Yeah.
Some of these we have talked about at length.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, because it's our show. And we want to talk about these movies anyways. We're doing all of the Batman TAS movies.
And yes, these are my original childhood copies, except the Batman Superman movie, which is a screening copy.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about it. But
these are my originals from when I was a kid.
Yeah, so we're only doing the, I know these are technically the start of the DCAU, technically. We're just doing these because these are the ones that, in my opinion, count the most towards Batman the Animated Series. We're not going to do Batman and Harley Quinn because, frankly,
that movie sucks.
It sucks, and it's so weird and nonsensical. I can't really count it as actually.
If Watchtower can't figure out where the fuck it goes in a timeline,
yeah,
I'm gonna write it off.
Because that one is so weird. You've got Nightwing in it, but he doesn't have the ponytail, so I don't know when this fucking takes place.
He's got the original Batmobiles in it, which wouldn't make sense because it should be the new Adventures of Batman Batmobile. Whole lot of continuation with that. That movie doesn't exist. We're just anyway.
I mean, we can review it sometime and just be like, this is why it don't make no fucking sense. But we're also probably gonna because we've already done this with Doug. We're not gonna go real in depth into Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Which I told him I love how my childhood copies of this. I had all these in the clamshells.
Yeah.
Except Phantasm, which I actually remember how I got this.
Yeah.
You're gonna love this. So, when I was about 5 years old, so this would have been 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
My mom bought this and Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
One of them was for me and the other one was for my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hid this under the seat in the truck. So my mom couldn't find it. Then I went back out and got it and I kept it.
Nice.
Because I was that much of a little shit. But,
fair.
But I mean, really when it comes down to Batman movies from when I was a kid, these are it right here.
Yeah.
These and Return of the Joker were my childhood Batman. These were the ones I really thought of when I thought of Batman, because I had seen some of the live action ones when I was younger. I had rented Batman and Robin countless times from the local rental store. I sat through parts of the other one, but I could never sit still long enough to finish them. So these were kind of the best because I could get these done in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, for a kid when you have ADHD and you can't fucking sit still, these were probably the best.
Yeah.
It also probably helps. These are probably some of the best Batman movies.
Yeah.
Period.
No, I think when we talked about this with Doug, I always say, people are always like, "What's your favorite Batman movie?" And I always say Mask of the Phantasm. And then
with me, it was it's either this or Return of the Joker. I mean, I can't decide.
No,
it depends on the day.
Yeah, it really. I mean, granted, I love Return of the Joker, but I'm someone who's really hardcore into Batman the Animated Series. I know you like Beyond a little bit more than Batman the Animated Series.
I love both. I was watching some TAS today actually.
But because for me, I grew up with TAS because I'm old enough to remember when it was airing on Fox Kids.
Soundtrack album on reprise cassette and CD.
Yeah,
I gotta get this on cassette. I need this on cassette, man. Because I have it on my phone. I was listening to it on the way here, feeling like a badass while I'm driving with the moon out in the fog and everything.
But so when I grew up, sadly, I didn't have most of these on VHS. The only one I really had was the Batman Superman movie.
Oh, you had World's Finest.
Yeah, I had World's Finest, but most of these I would rent. I rented Batman: Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero a lot. I did have the graphic novel for Batman, or not the graphic novel, the novelization for Sub-Zero as a kid.
I used to rent these a lot too, because when I would go spend the night at my grandma's place, I don't know why, there would be days I wouldn't bring these, because it was a thing. We would always go to the rental store, pick out a movie. There would be days I would get these. I would make her rent these, and I owned these.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I didn't just bring them, but
but
just a random thing.
Yeah, I rented a lot of these. I remember my first taste of Batman Beyond was actually the original Batman Beyond VHS.
The syndicated.
Yeah, the syndicated version of Rebirth.
Which I actually think is superior to the TV version.
Oh, it absolutely is superior to the TV version. Just because it
can never get used to. Halfway through Rebirth, it cuts to them fucking credits. I have never gotten used to that because that was how I watched it for years on end.
Mm-hmm.
And even like back around like 2004 when I want to say Cartoon Network started doing the re-airs, like they were doing TAS and they were doing Batman Beyond on like Toonami. I never got used to that either, seeing Rebirth, and it would be that cut in the middle. I was never... Because I was so used to the movie version, where it's all in one piece.
That's like when I watched the pilot of Darkwing Duck, because like, I for a long time I always rented the VHS copy that had the hour-long pilot special, whereas, and this is one thing that fucking pisses me off about the Disney Afternoon DVDs, like they run everything in the syndicated format of the show, and it's really annoying because some of them do have slight edits to fit a different time.
I mean, like even this does, like the Blu-ray copy that you can get with, I believe it's on all Blu-ray copies. It probably is because I have this on Blu-ray with the TAS complete box set.
Yeah.
And it comes with unedited and TV syndicated version.
Which, to be fair, this movie is one of the few that has really any censorship to it because of the fact that it. I mean, so Return of the Joker, obviously, because we've talked about it.
That's infamous.
It's infamous, but this, it's just so funny because this was when it originally aired, it was PG. Or actually, no, I want to say this was G when it came out.
Because it's PG on here, some material may not be suitable for children.
But I think when it went to the VHS, it became PG because, like, I don't think anyone was prepared for. This Batman movie has Batman having sex multiple times in it. Joker Joker losing a tooth at one point. But
can we talk just 1 minute? I know we've talked about this numerous times.
Yeah.
How completely badass this cover is.
That's the poster for the movie too. It is like one of the best. Like I remember as a little kid, I would always see that poster, or when I would see ads for it on like because I had a couple of the Batman animated series 2-episode VHSs,
which I have a couple of
and
those
a lot of them had.
Because I think I found some ones that you didn't have.
Yeah, and a lot of them had advertising for Mask of the Phantasm, and I remember seeing that cover all the time. And I'm like, what is this? The sad part is when I used to rent it as a kid, I would rent it and I'd be like, man, this is really fucking boring.
I remember, not to interrupt you again, but I remember do you remember the ad that was on other tapes for these?
Yeah, I remember both the ads for those.
Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero. Coming soon on home media, like home video or something.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Was it
I still have it.
And then it was like Return of the Joker Fall 2000 or something. I want to say that was on a Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders.
It was.
That's where it is. That's where I remember seeing that.
Because I remember, I'm like 31 years old and I always remember the ads for Sub-Zero. If I'm not back in time, go without me. What? Wait!
Yeah.
Like that scene where
just you saying it, I can see it.
Right? It's like ingrained in your fucking skull.
It's like Return of the Joker. When we watched the ads the one day, remember, I was doing them verbatim because I remembered
popping. No,
some clowns, which is never funny. They just do the whole trailer verbatim because it was such a good trailer.
But no, I remember. I do remember. I for a long time as a little kid, I preferred Sub-Zero over Mask of the Phantasm.
I liked both pretty equally. I liked Beyond better.
I think for me, going back to a time when these were the only two Batman movies you could get, aside from like the live action, like I remember being bored as a little kid for Mask of the Phantasm. Like as I got older, I came to appreciate the movie. I think that's mostly just because like as a little kid, I was there to watch Batman beat up bad guys. I wasn't really there for the intrinsic psychological like
random thing. But I'm pretty sure if I'm reading this right, this tape was manufactured in the third week. I'm trying to think.
I want to say that probably March 22nd, 94.
Yeah, March 22nd, 1994. So this tape's old.
Tape, yeah.
This tape is very, very old.
Still younger than me though.
Yeah. But well, look at the side of it because it's just been because this thing's been played to death.
No.
When I brought some of my tapes out the one day we were hanging out, like Was it the first Raimi movie? Remember, it was stuck.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had to kind of force it to go fast forward to get it to rewind because it was actually stuck.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just remember, like, man, these tapes are like, please let me rest. I've had enough.
Just let me die. You have this on Blu-ray and DVD. But all right, I think we've talked enough about let's get into the actual movies.
Phantasm, we've done an entire episode on. Please check it out. We have Doug guest starring on it. We have a great fucking discussion on it.
Yeah. But just to give a quick summation, it's more or less just Batman Year One for that version of the Batman.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's immensely more enjoyable than Batman Begins.
Oh, it's immensely more enjoyable than Dark Knight Rises. I actually argue it's so good, it's even better than the 89 Batman film. I love the 89 Batman film, but
I actually would back you up on that.
Yeah.
I love both to death, but it's like somebody, I think it was Zach, posted on my Facebook or something. He was sharing something that was that quote from Keaton that's making the rounds right now, where he's like, I always thought in the back of my mind, I could go back and nail that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I was I commented, I'm like, the second best Batman.
Yeah.
After Kevin Conroy.
And in my opinion, it's probably Conroy's best portrayal of Batman in anything. And to be fair, I love him in the rest of these, but Mask of the Phantasm lets Conroy...
It's just a step up.
Yeah, it lets Conroy, really show his acting chops. That scene where he's in the rain and he's, begging his parents to be I need you to let me not be Batman. I didn't count on being happy. That scene fucks me up every single time, because Kevin's I didn't count on this. I didn't count on being happy. And I'm fucking why? Or that scene at the very end when... Alfred's patching him up, and he's just sitting there with his head in his hands, and he looks at Alfred and he goes, I couldn't save her, Alfred. That scene with him and Aaron Zimbalist Jr., is probably one of the best Alfred Batman moments in, cinema history, where, Alfred tries to get him to understand that, you couldn't have saved Andrea. But, no, it's really good. If you love a good mystery, if you like a good noir Batman, if you want to see what Matt Reeves might be doing with Batman in that new movie, watch Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It's amazing.
Now this next one, this is a movie I know we've talked a little bit about, but we've never really gone in depth with it, which is Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Kind of like you, I really liked this as a kid, and look how old that label is.
Oh my god, that's yeah.
Again, you can even see the bubbling, it's starting to come up.
I actually remember, I think this is around the time they started doing ads for DC Comics in these. Because I remember, I want to say my Riddler VHS, it had a commercial that literally was just them talking about DC Comics and go to your local comic book store.
Fucking molds coming out of it.
I didn't know we're going to die from mold inhalation. I know it's not that kind of mold. But,
this was manufactured in the 20th week of 1997.
Huh.
Is when this tape was produced.
Yeah.
Which shows, because this was actually done prior to Batman and Robin. They delayed the release of it because Batman and Robin
was so
critically murdered.
Which is so
fucking bad.
They were we can't put this out. It's also technically the original ending for the TAS, because the way they used to animate this show was so expensive they could not make more of it. It did really well, but it was getting pricey to keep doing it. Which is
why they switched over to the Superman animated series style for New Batman Adventures.
Yeah, that was why. But technically, this was supposed to be the end of Batman TAS.
Which, again, that's a great cover.
Yeah. And I think it's a good ending for Batman the Animated Series, especially because it gives closure to, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I get why a lot of people kind of forget it, because at the end of the day...
It's really underrated, honestly.
It is really underrated, but at the end of the day, it's just a really long episode of Batman the Animated Series. And I'm not saying that, as a bad thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of films that are like that. I love the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie, and it's just straight up a more budgeted episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Some of the Star Trek movies are like that. They're just really well-written episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But sometimes that doesn't really work. Like Star Trek Insurrection. Or, for some people, Mystery of the Batwoman. Although,
Which we'll get there.
Yeah, I love all these movies. I just want to point out, I get why some people don't like this movie or have problems with it. Because it does feel like it's just an episode of the show. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, really. I know we've had that discussion a couple different times, which
Yeah.
is it just feels like a very, very long, extended episode of the show.
Yeah.
Which I love because it just feels like I'm watching the show.
No,
it's
as do I.
and
Although you do notice some weird animation stuff, like Batman or Dick and Bruce look really weird in this. Like, I want to say Bruce doesn't have like actual eyes; he has the dots instead of like actual eyes. Like maybe that was Dick. I want to say one of them had like there's clearly some like animation things they're doing that's odd.
I want to say that's Bruce because
I want to say that was
remember,
Bruce.
I remember Dick having eyes.
But it was just really weird.
I love the back, looking at the credits here. I was actually looking at the run times compared to Phantasm, and for some reason that's not listed on the back of Phantasm's case. I had to pull the tape.
Which is
out.
weird because I want to say this is longer, or at least a little bit longer. Not like a.
This is shorter.
Oh, shorter?
67 minutes, 77 minutes.
Okay, yeah, because I want to say that's like an hour, almost an hour.
What I was bringing up, starring the voice talents of Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And lists everybody in here.
Which, this is also, I think, the last time Barbara's original VA voiced her before they replaced her with Tara Strong, too. Because after this, they used Tara Strong for Batgirl.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, I do forget who they have for Barbara. And although, to be fair, I do prefer Tara to... Nothing personal against this Batgirl, but, like, a lot of the early Batgirl episodes of BTS are kind of forgettable. Just because they're... Like... They don't really do much with her in them.
I'm looking it up. Give me a second.
Like,
she is voiced by... Oh my god. Okay, that's somebody else. Thank God, because I was going to butcher that fucking name.
yeah,
Okay.
Mary
Mary Kay Bergman.
Yeah, Mary Kay Bergman, which I like her fine. I just think Tara is a much better, like, younger Barbara than... He's like, this is supposed to be a Barbara that's, like, still in college.
Probably the reason they stopped doing it is she passed away in November 11, 1999.
Wow.
Yeah. She...
I actually did not know that.
I'm not gonna get into how she died. 'Cause I don't want to get...
Yeah.
I don't want to have YouTube go after me, but...
I mean, like I said, she's fine. I
Yeah,
like Tara a little bit more.
Yeah, this might have actually been her last performance, come to think of it.
It probably was.
Period. Like, let me look this up. She was also the lead voice actress on South Park.
Oh, wow. Very multi-talented.
Okay, the last thing she did while she was alive was Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. She was Daphne.
Oh, yeah! She was the original voice actress of Daphne, I want to say.
Yes, that was the last one, and then she was posthumously in Toy Story 2, Christmas in South Park, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, Lady and the Tramp 2, and Balto 2. With Balto 2 being the last posthumous release.
Oh, what was she in Toy Story?
Jessie.
She was Jessie?
Yodeling sounds / additional voices.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know she was in so much.
I did not know that at all.
Shows what you see when you deep dive. And to be fair, I also kind of feel bad because like a lot of Barbara's stuff in the first 3 seasons of BTAS, she's literally just here to like kind of just be in the like, because she spends like she gets one scene of her as Batgirl in this, and then spends the rest of it kidnapped by Mr. Freeze, which is kind of a shame because like again, this was going to be her originally the last time we saw her.
They kind of do Barbara dirty in this.
Yeah, thankfully in the new Batman Adventures, Barbara gets to be a lot more proactive. In fact, she gets like a couple episodes just dedicated to her in that show.
Yeah.
My favorite being the one where her and Supergirl have just like a whole episode where they fight Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn and Livewire. But so to get into the plot of this, basically Mr. Freeze had not been seen in Gotham for a long time. This is actually a tie-in to the second Mr. Freeze episode, which was the last time you'd seen him. Basically, and to be fair, this is one of the weirder episodes of BTAS. Basically, a guy that's an XP for Walt Disney, who knew he was going to die of cancer, or some sort of incurable disease, has Mr. Freeze make him into a Mr. Freeze. And in exchange, he had found Nora, because originally he had thought Nora had died at the events of in Heart of Ice, because the accident that turned him into Mr. Freeze appeared to have destroyed her body. Apparently she was alive. Because of course. And more or less, this dude and all these guys that wanted to follow him were gonna basically kill Mr. Freeze and do the events like Batman and Robin have to help him, and eventually Batman and Robin escape from this place exploding, and at the end it's revealed that Freeze and Nora had somehow survived, like this weird island capsule thingy that they were in. And that was technically the last time you saw Mr. Freeze in the animated series until
New Batman Adventures.
Yeah, until New Batman Adventures, which technically is a sequel to this. So basically, Victor had brought Nora to the North Pole and was more or less keeping her there while he was trying to find a cure for her disease, which I think they do explain what the disease is in this movie, but they never explained it in the episodes. It's not McGregor's disease from Batman and Robin, if you want.
I want to say it's some pseudoscience.
Yeah,
weird shit.
I think it's some sort of some sort of disease in her blood system, which is why but basically, a naval submarine comes crashing through the cave that he's keeping Nora in, and it more or less destabilizes her cryo chamber. And after Mr. Freeze murders this entire submarine of people, which I always feel bad for these guys because they literally didn't mean to do this. It was an entire accident.
It's the whole crew.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah. Oh, and also he was friends with with the Inuits that were living there, because I remember he brings one of the little boys from the Inuit tribe. Yeah. Tribe with him to Gotham. And a couple polar bears, because why the fuck not?
His parents are dead. Remember, the kid's parents are dead, so Freeze is taken care of.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now. Can you tell I didn't watch this before we reviewed it?
What? I just remembered it.
But basically, nowhere to turn. Freeze goes to Gotham. He meets with an old friend of his who is a surgeon, because due to the fact that the cryo chamber's failing, Nora needs a heart transplant or she's going to die. The chamber's keeping her stable for now, but she's going to need a heart surgery transplant.
It's not a heart transplant. It's a blood transfusion.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it needs
because she has an extremely rare blood type, which Barbara
that's
shares.
right. Well, I thought it was a heart transplant. You're right.
It's a blood transfusion.
But basically, he needs this surgeon and a rare blood type, which thankfully Mr. Freeze, or no, Mr. Freeze doesn't figure out. The surgeon figures out because Barbara's a blood donor, I want to say.
Yeah.
And so her blood's on file.
Yeah, she's listed as a blood donor.
And basically they kidnap her and take her to this oil rig. The guy works with Freeze because he did a bunch of back alley surgeries.
Yeah, and basically Freeze lures him in with gold.
Yeah. Then he found mining in
a small piece of a vein I found in the Arctic.
Yeah.
It's yours. All of it.
Yeah, and so he needs the money. And that's more or less is the movie. She gets kidnapped and Batman and Robin are trying to find her.
It's got that great scene where Dick's chasing after the van on the bike, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
Which I want to say, this movie has some early 3D animation.
Yeah, it does have some early 3D.
I want to say a lot of them hold up.
Yeah, because the Batwing's 3D in this.
Yeah. I want to say they hold up pretty well.
They hold up pretty well.
It's a little noticeable once you know it's 3D animation. That it looks very late 90s CGI, but it actually holds up surprisingly well.
Then it's mostly effects like showing off the plane and like the city. Like it.
Yeah. I want to say, like, once you get used to it, you don't notice it at all.
It's certainly not as jarring as the 3D that shows up in Spider-Man the animated series. Because my God.
Yeah, that shit's real noticeable.
Yeah, real noticeable because it is not aged well. But that's, like I said, that's mostly the plot. There are some really great scenes. Like, I love the scenes where Barbara and Mr. Freeze are talking, and it shows the humanity that Mr. Freeze still has left in him.
Didn't I quote that to you the other day too about at work? I did, where I was where he's like, Nora was all I ever wanted, and they took her from me.
Yeah,
remember I did that to you randomly, and you just looked at me like, really? That's what you're quoting to me right now?
No, it's a really good film. But like I said,
it suffers from just being a very long episode of the series.
Yeah, like if you trim this down, you would mistake it for an episode. And like I said, that's not a bad thing. It's just it's hard for me to describe it because most of it is action / Batman and Robin kind of fucking around trying to find Barbara. Which, I mean, that's fun and it's great to watch, but I can't really just describe it or else we're just going to be doing a play-by-play. Although that one of the highlights includes that surgeon just getting fucking obliterated by that fucking oil derrick that as it's going down. I'm like, Jesus. Like, you know,
he's quick to abandon his morals too. Because at one point he's like, they're talking about like there's no like they're looking for that blood type, and Freeze instantly is like, well then we'll have to use a live donor. Are you kidding? She'll die. I know.
Yeah.
And then he's instantly like, you're a piece of work, aren't you?
Yeah. No.
This is gonna cost you a little more than just a little gold nugget. I'm like,
yeah, and I'm like my God, no, no wonder this guy's like in a huge amount of shit. Like, Batman must be fucking looking for this motherfucker. But no, like I said, it's very good. I always love the ending where it shows that Bruce managed to get Nora help and she's finally living again. But like,
it's a shame they recount that like later on. Well, we perpetually got to keep Nora Freeze in cryo.
Well, no, I want to say no. She lives, but like she talks about how she misses Victor. Yeah, but Victor can't really go to her because he's Mr. Freeze.
He's a wanted criminal.
Because I love that ending where he sees that she's okay and that's enough for him, and he walks away because he's got the ice cast. Yeah, the ice cast. What actually happens is Freeze goes to see her. She's horrified of what he's become, and that makes him become even more evil in BTAS.
Yeah, that's when he's got the head thing. Because remember the head on the spider body, which is so fucking weird.
And they also say like basically whatever turned him into Mr. Freeze is like causing his organs to shut down. So he severed his own head and put it on that weird spider body in the mech suit.
Which is still so fucking 90s looking.
And then it gets so fucking weird later on in Batman Beyond, where they clone him a body, and then it starts turning into like mutating into like the. And I'm like,
Powers betrays him, and I'm like, Powers, that was fucking dumb to do.
Because like they imply that like his head is just kept alive in some random cell in Blackgate, where it's like just like all these wires and shit. I'm like, just let the poor bastard die. Like,
this is Gotham. We don't do that.
I know, but like, Jesus, just let the poor. Like,
look at Bane.
Oh my God! Well,
in Batman Beyond, they don't let any of these fucking people die.
To be fair to Bane, though, he's like at least he's not just a sentient head.
No, I know.
Like that's a little different. I'm just saying, like,
hell, look at what happened to that guy that got turned into fucking clay by ink. They didn't let that poor motherfucker just die. Well, that probably would have been more humane at that point.
They probably were like, "Oh, we can fix this."
Yeah,
Well, I mean, to be fair,
Does anybody ever really fix anything in Gotham?
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, like with splicing and stuff, they could probably eventually fix him.
Yeah.
But
overall, this movie, I'd give it a pretty solid, like, I want to say a 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty solid, fair rating.
I give it a 7.
It's enjoyable.
7
I really like it still. Yeah. It's just, like we were talking, it really suffers from just being a very elongated episode of the TV series. Which isn't a bad thing. But at the same time, it's also not one of the A-level episodes of TAS.
Yeah, it's just...
But I would say it's probably solid B level.
It's certainly better than the second Mr. Freeze episode of BTAS.
Yeah.
Like, I would actually prefer... I wish that had been made into the actual second episode of Mr. Than the actual second episode. Yeah. And it is a shame that it had to come out, like, a year later, but I do remember when it came out, they were pushing this, because Taco Bell had toys for that. And I had
now, I don't remember that because I was too young for that.
I actually used to have this popsicle. It was literally a Batman on a stick. It had like a thing of ice. It was implied that, like, you freeze him, but you put like juice or soda or whatever, and then you put Batman in there, and you have to free him by eating all the ice off him.
That's kind of cool.
It would. No, there were some sweet toys in that. Like actually, it and the Superman animated series had toys at Taco Bell, and it was surreal.
See, I didn't know this because, like, my family, we didn't eat at Taco Bell until like 2009.
Yeah, fair.
Like a long ass time. We were pretty firmly McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's.
No, that's fair. To be fair, my mother would probably tell you it's a miracle he actually liked to eat at Taco Bell, because I was such a picky little kid. But but yeah, no. So moving on, this I actually had on VHS, and I was telling him before we started, when this came out, my copy actually was a special edition that came with a little digest version of the graphic novel adaptation of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is more or less straight up just Batman Mask of the Phantasm. They just cut out a lot of the more violent parts of it.
Yeah, which my copy is kind of cool because we've talked about this on the show before, but this is actually a screening copy that I found at one of the local thrift stores. You can see on the side. Yeah. Not for resale, public exhibition, or rental. Basically, this was like what they would send to the rental stores to try to get you to buy the movie. Yeah. Like, screening copy. Because when you watch it, it's the movie, but it has not for resale along the bottom. I bought this for $0.25, and I guess like screening copies are kind of rare anymore. So you see, kids, back in the day, to make people rent movies that they super low price, $14.95. I mean, to be fair, that was pretty good price for back in the day. For a VHS tape back then, yeah. You see, kids, back in the day, if you ever saw this on commercial, what they would do is they would pop this on a TV at the rental store, and they would just play it over and over and over again while people were coming in to be like, oh, what's that? And then they would have this up at the front, like the clamshell, be like, oh, that's Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Which even says on the bottom, full-length screening cassette, which is the second Superman animated series special. The first, of course, being the 2-episode pilot. I'll say it's called Beginnings, but basically, this is 3 episodes of Superman the animated series cut into one. It's also a backdoor pilot for the 4th season of Batman the animated series, which at that point was called the Batman Superman Hour, because what they would do is they would air episodes of Superman first, then an episode of Batman the animated series, either the original run or new episodes of the new Batman adventures. It just depended on when you watch. Because I remember my parents took me to a trip when I was a little kid, and I watched this Batman Superman Hour, and it was actually was the Mr. Freeze episode I was just talking about that they played after. Yeah. But yeah, this was when these were no longer on Fox Kids. These were on the Kids WB, because the Superman anime series aired on the Kids WB. Yeah. I kind of want to just read the back of this real quick, because the back is also different. Mm-hmm. 2 superheroes plus 2 villains equals 2 times the profits. Super popularity for 2 superheroes. The Adventures of Batman and Superman is seen by over 14 million fans weekly. The Batman franchise has sold through over 35 million video units to date. Batman merchandise has sold over 5 billion since 1989. New Superman U.S. postal stamp to be unveiled soon after the video streets. Super promotions. Video availability stickered on over 3 million Hasbro toys. Good lord. Free paperback Batman comic book enclosed in each video. Free Batman and Robin CD-ROM cartoon maker offer. National TV airing in fall 1998 on Kids WB Saturday morning. There it is, actually. That's the graphic novel that I had. Yeah. Insert in Best Western Fun Pack, handed out to every guest all summer long. Warner Brothers 75th Anniversary Savings Book with over $150 in valuable offers. National print campaign. Brought to you by Family Fun Magazine, Crayola Kids, Nickelodeon, Sports Illustrated for Kids, DC, and Disney Adventures.
That's actually Nickelodeon Magazine, actually.
Was that Nickelodeon Magazine?
Yeah, that I recognize that.
It's got a Warner Brothers 75th anniversary logo in the
Actually, I have a few issues of Nickelodeon Magazine because I used to get it subscribed.
I used to have some. I threw them all out when I moved.
But basically, the plot, and it was kind of a big deal back in the day because this was
the original Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
type
well, not only that, and I know Lex and Joker knew each other in the Legion of Superheroes cartoon or the Super Friends cartoon because they were both a part of the Legion of Doom.
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
But to be fair, this was the first really legit Batman and Superman meeting each other. That wasn't something ridiculous like an 80s or 70s kids cartoon.
This was serious.
Yeah, and I mean not serious in the way we say it now. I mean
this was a big deal.
This was a big deal because people were can they do that?
Legally?
Legally? But yeah. And it's so funny, everyone loves that movie. I remember people were actually comparing it to Batman v Superman. Because and to be fair, as much as I
think that's better than Batman v Superman.
It is, but it's also but it's kind of not fair because they're both doing kind of two different things. Because this is about the first meeting of Batman and Superman. Okay, technically Batman v Superman is but this is trying to be an actual movie, not set up for a fucking Justice League movie that's going to be shit. But basically, the plot is the Joker and Harley Quinn steal this rare antiquity known as the Jade Dragon, which later is revealed to not actually be made of jade. It's made of it's solid kryptonite. Because later Batman points out that apparently every single person that's had this thing has died of radiation poisoning. Which is also a little subtle nod to the fact that Lex would get cancer from kryptonite in the Justice League cartoon, which would get cured by Brainiac because Brainiac's no, the most obvious thing for me to do to kill Kal-El is to put myself in a fleshy human body, even though that makes no fucking sense. That was one of the weirdest fucking reveals when they watched Justice League and they were and they showed that Lex had superpowers and shit. And I'm the fuck? And then his shirt rips open and you see fucking Brainiac's face on his chest and I'm
the fuck? I remember seeing that on TV at one point and being what in the fuck is this?
Yeah. I was oh shit, it's Brainiac!
That was back when I was watching that along with Code Lyoko and I'm why is this the weirdest thing I've watched today is this shit?
Well, especially because Bruce Timm was obsessed with Brainiac in that show. He loved to have Brainiac just show up for no fucking reason. The episode where Stag met the Justice League. Brainiac shows up.
Why? Who knows?
But getting back to the actual movie we're talking about. Basically, the Joker is broke because Batman has been has been interfering with him for a little too long.
In terms of money, we have no money.
Yeah. So he goes to Metropolis and talks with Lex, and he's pay me $1 billion and I will kill Superman. And so, basically, the Joker has come to Metropolis, and Batman knows he's got an anti-Superman weapon. So Batman, with Alfred, goes to Metropolis and tries to warn Superman while also trying to apprehend the Joker.
While also having a love interest with Lois Lane.
And that's more or less the basic premise of that movie. Grant,
it won't stand for mass vigilantes in my city. Bro, really?
Just because you don't wear a mask, Superman, you're still technically a fucking vigilante. No, and to be fair, this movie has so much great moments. That scene where Superman tries to stop Batman with and Batman fucking flings him over, and Superman's just how did you do that?
Bruce Wayne. You
peaked. Oh my god,
that's a great.
That is such a great movie.
He takes it all in stride.
Yeah,
you peaked.
Yeah, and then later when Superman flies back to his apartment and Batman's just there looking at him, and I'm how'd you not notice or hear the tracer?
Or the part with Lois where Lois finds out the reveal. I'm sitting on the story of the century. I can't do anything about it.
The other part where she's patching over, she's I'm gonna go get the iodine. The stinging iodine. Well, then I love this movie, but like, my God, Batman is just
He's a troll in this.
He's such a dick in this whole movie. Like, I thank you. I couldn't have saved Lois without your help. I'm aware of that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Batman, just take the fucking compliment.
Why are we stealing Clark's Netflix password? Because fuck him, that's why.
No, like, he really is. Like, he's such a dick this whole fucking movie to Superman.
But it's funny as fuck.
No, it is funny as fuck, but like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Bruce, dial it fucking back. But no, and to be fair, this is also the debut of like the reanimations for most of the BTS characters. And most of them are really great. And then you get to Joker.
Joker's that weird hybrid.
Yeah.
Not really weird hybrid, because the one in Return of the Joker is the weird hybrid. That is actually better than this design.
It's more or less the default they do. Oh, no, that's right. Because that was actually...
The eyes. Yeah, because the eyes are different.
Because that's what they used for Justice League. Because that came out before Justice League came out.
Yeah, because... basically, for those who don't know what we're talking about, they went from, the classic TAS design to this design with, the black eyes.
He looks like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, the black eyes with the white dots.
Because most of the redesigns for BTAS are
fucking bad. I would actually, I like them better.
I like Poison Ivy's redesign.
I know that's a controversial opinion on the internet, is that if you like new Batman Adventures designs versus the original ones.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the new Batman Adventure designs 99% over.
I mean, there's some I like
both.
Yeah, like I like the original version of the Riddler, because I like the way he looks like a fucking game show host.
I like Barbara's redesign.
The
Barbara costume redesign for new Batman Adventures is infinitely fucking better.
Barbara, the BTS back roll is the superior back roll.
The fucking gold and black is perfection.
That, and to be fair, I like the ones I take issue with are this Joker, and I know everybody loves Scarecrow in the new Batman Adventures. I think they kind of missed the point with Scarecrow. It was like, no, we got to make him actually scary. I'm like, he looks like a joke when he uses the fear toxin.
That's when he fucking turns scary.
Well, then, like, he doesn't even really look like a Scarecrow to me in the BTA or in the new Batman Adventures.
The way I always kind of surmised it when I was a kid was, that's how he looks when you're under the fear toxin.
Yeah.
So they flipped it to where this is how he wants you to see him all the time. Which maybe that's a little bit like reading too much into it. That's how I always surmised it.
Yeah. Because I know
I like both designs.
I know everybody like that design. It's just, I'm like, I look at it and I don't see a Scarecrow, though, is the problem. Like, that's mainly my problem, is it doesn't look like a Scarecrow. It looks like he looks like the thing from Jeepers Creepers.
The best fucking Scarecrow design is Arkham Knight.
Oh, absolutely.
Then he is scary as fucking shit looking.
Well, I like the one from the Arkham Asylum.
Both of them.
Yeah, no, like that.
By the time you get to Knight, he's just fucked up looking. It's like he is genuinely
he's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, he's genuinely fucking hard to look at.
Also, oddly, in this movie, does Harley Quinn look blue to you? Like it looks like her face paint has like a bluish tint to it.
That might have been like when you watched it, maybe. Maybe
fair.
Maybe it's a little bit of color correction.
Also, oh my God, that scene where Joker goes in on the Metropolis mobs and Harley pulls out the fucking pogo stick and just beats the shit out of everybody. And oh my God, this is where we really start seeing Bruce Timm being a fucking pervert. Like, where we have like several scenes of Harley and Mercy, Lex's butler / servant,
bodyguard.
/ bodyguard, just beat the shit out of each other in like the most catfighty way, where like they're ripping each other's clothes. I'm like, oh, Bruce Timm likes ladies? I couldn't fucking tell. Yeah. It's so subtle.
Real quick, I meant to bring this up. This is tied in, so before anybody says thread derailed, this is still related to New Batman Adventures. Mm-hmm. So the Batman Vengeance video game? Yeah. I was recently watching a live stream of someone playing it.
Yeah.
And they showed the cutscenes, which I love. I love when streams actually show me the cutscenes, show me the whole game, like show me the whole picture.
Yeah.
And there's this scene with Joker and Harley, and these goons, right? And they're talking about like what they're gonna do, and this one guy's like, "Oh, boss, I got a question. Like when we were working for Scarecrow, we were getting like health coverage and a 401k."
You told me Scarecrow.
Yeah, and then listen, the whole Joker's letting him talk, and then there's Harley in the background with the fucking mallet.
Yeah.
And just fucking smashes this guy in the fucking skull. And I'm just like, it made me chuckle.
No.
Like, you really asking him about fucking dental?
Yeah, you're asking the Joker?
About dental?
Did you see the episode? Did you see Harley or Mad Love where he fucking, like, kidnaps Gordon at the dentist's office? That was what was going to happen to you because you brought up dentists.
Well, it leads into one of my favorite things with all the TAS Bruce Timm stuff is that you really feel they're interconnected because that reminded me of the moment in Mystery of the Batwoman where the two guys that are the bodyguards for Duquesne, remember he's like, I miss working for the Joker.
When we talk, I want to get, because I love the one bodyguard in there. That is the smartest fucking thug I've ever seen. But we'll get to that when we get to the Mystery of the Batman.
I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was fucking humorous because that game uses the new Batman Adventures design.
Yeah, because sadly most of those games came out during that time, which I remember. I think they used that same Joker for Batman Mask of Sun Tzu or
Rise of Sun Tzu.
Rise of Sun
they
Tzu.
do.
Which, yeah.
One day we'll play it, and you get to watch me and Adam be infinitely frustrated because that game is fucking hard. I own that game.
But no, like, because, like, I think one of the things that makes this movie so great is just all the interactions. The scenes where Bruce comes into the Daily Planet and is fucking smoozing with Lois Lane, and you just see Clark sitting there, like, getting just more and more pissed.
Veins starting to show up.
Or that scene where, like, they can't get in to talk to Lex because they know he's working with the Joker, and Bruce goes, I could ask him, and then smash cut to Batman crashing through Lex's bedroom window and just going up to me like, I know you're working for the Joker. Like, oh my god. Like, every scene in this is amazing. Or like that scene when, like, he needs to go get to, like, the other side of Metropolis, and Alfred's like, you don't have enough time to get to the bat plane. Because I love that he brings the bat plane in his own private fucking jet, but the jet has a compartment that he fucking slips I don't know who Batman paid off to do that. I just find it fucking hilarious he paid someone to put the Batwing in that private jet. I'm like... But,
it's fucking great.
Well, I love it because, Alfred opens the case to reveal, like, the Batwing jetpack that he had. And I love where Alfred, he's like, as they say, so, when in Rome. I'm just like... Which I remember, that I actually think owned the toy of that Batman. Because when this movie came out, they actually made that toy because they made like a whole World's Finest toy line.
I used to have so many fucking TAS Batman figures.
I
don't have them anymore, sadly.
No,
I have those two you gave me.
Yeah, my mom will tell you. I used to have this Batman. He came with like a weird, like rocket, like it was kind of like the chick from the new Batman Adventures with the rocket.
Roxy Rocket.
Yeah, it was like her thing. But it had a little button, and it was basically a bat signal flashlight where you could click it, and it would make.
That's fucking cool.
That's
dope.
I played with that thing until I fucking burnt the light out. It was, I no longer have it, but it was one of my favorite toys as a kid, and my mother would probably tell you, "Oh my god, I got tired of replacing the fucking batteries in that thing." But no, but like this is so good. Like, you know that scene where Joker finds the flying wing, and like he's gonna take it, and then like Mercy's gonna kill him and Harley, and he starts laughing. What's so funny, Puddin'? Don't you see, Harley? It's the old double cross. Why didn't I think of that? Oh wait, I did. Or that scene where, Joker's got the kryptonite, and Batman warned him, so he comes in with the lead-proof suit, and Joker's like, I don't understand what went wrong. Oh wait, I forgot the acid. No, that scene is so fucking good. Or like the scene where like Batman, like Batman, Superman, and Lois are trapped in the building with the bomb, and Batman's like trying to detective his way out. He's like, hydrochloric acid. It'd take a week to corrode the door. Wait, kryptonite. Because for some reason that the acid negates kryptonite's radiation by melting it. Because physics.
Puddin' at this point.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Well, because at this point, Batman fucking hates the Joker in BTAS.
Everybody watching that movie. Damn!
You remember that episode where Joker's Millions, where like Barbara's kind of like, maybe Joker's turned himself around, and Batman like just angrily breaks the thing he's working on, just like, I fucking hate that gun so much. Like, this was before Return of the Joker.
Crazy enough to take on Batman.
But the IRS, no, thank you. But yeah, like your thoughts on Batman?
Really, really enjoy it. I actually enjoy it a little bit more than Sub-Zero. So like, I'm probably gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable. I highly recommend it. It's fucking great.
I would also give it an 8 out of 10.
It's the best of both worlds because I like Superman the animated series as well. I'm glad that's finally getting a fucking Blu-ray release, which I did check. This is gonna be on it.
Wait, it has the Superman. It's not the 3-parter like it is in the original.
I'm pretty sure it's.
Holy shit!
If it's on there, it's probably this. I don't know if it's the movie or if it's the television version. We'll look it up when we're done. I know it's on there in some form.
I feel more likely it's going to be just the episodes because, sadly, you probably can only find this in the separate episodes, like as it was like re-aired for like the Superman the Animated Series. Because it's I want to say this.
I'm double checking. I'm looking on HBO Max.
It might be on HBO Max because anymore you can't find it in movie form, which is such a shame. Also, I love that Joker survives the end of this fucking movie somehow.
Yeah.
Like, then I want to say this movie actually got, these episodes got pulled.
On DC, on HBO, I'm pretty sure it's in Superman the Animated Series.
I was thinking,
yeah, it's in.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, it's not badly cut up. It's just.
It's one of those things, it's kind of like the Batman Rebirth thing, where you get used to seeing a certain version of it, which. Yeah. You can still buy World's Finest on DVD.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm pretty sure you can buy it on Blu-ray.
You probably can, but for a while you actually couldn't find this movie because of the ending due to the fact that Joker tries to destroy Metropolis with the flying wing.
Which 9/11.
Yeah, after 9/11, it actually these episodes in the movie got pulled from like circulation for a while. But thankfully, you can find it easily on Blu-ray and DVD. I'm
looking it up right now.
Moving on.
World's Finest.
We'll probably.
What was your rating, by the way?
Oh, 8 out of 10 as well.
8 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
The Batman Superman movie is also on Prime Video.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's on Prime. So, there you go.
We're probably also going to skim this real quick, just because
this is just Batman Beyond. Yeah, we've already covered Batman Beyond.
This is literally just the Rebirth 2-parter, but in movie format.
Yeah, and this.
Which sadly you're never going to be able to find this on the way it is now. Like you're going to only.
I have it on DVD.
Oh,
it's available on DVD. You can buy it on DVD. It's not on Blu-ray. And again, as we covered in, I believe when we did our Batman Beyond video, they've edited this on HBO Max, and earlier on DC Universe we noticed this. The intro where Bruce he starts having the heart problems while he's trying to rescue Bunny Vreeland.
Yeah.
In this version, and I still need to check the DVD because I feel like it's on the DVD. I know for a fact it's on the Blu-ray. Yeah. They edit the intro because during that scene, the screen goes red, and it kind of like starts going in and out like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If you watch it on any streaming service right now, that effect is no longer over it.
Yeah, sadly.
So either they removed it due to maybe worrying about somebody having a seizure over it, which, if that's the case, very valid reason and understandable.
Yeah.
I also feel like we also kind of theorize that it might be that they lost that effect, which is also pretty plausible.
But yeah, this is basically just the pilot for Batman Beyond. You know, it tells the story of Terry McGinnis, who, after his father is murdered by the Jokers, or appears to be murdered by the Jokers, Terry later finds out that it might have something to do with the company that his father worked at, known as Wayne Powers. And so Terry goes to Bruce Wayne, who, due to a twist of fate, finds out he was originally Batman. And when Bruce basically tells him he's not going to do anything about it, Terry steals his bat suit and becomes the new Dark Knight. And that's more or less the basic premise of Rebirth. And honestly, it's a solid start to the Batman Beyond.
It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Solidly a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
It's one of my favorite Batman Beyond episodes.
In terms of these movies, it is the same as Phantom. It's 10 out of 10.
It's tells fantastic.
It tells you everything you need to know about what's happened to Gotham since Batman disappeared for like 50 years. And
it introduces my fucking favorite Batman suit ever in history. That is the Batman Beyond one is hands down my favorite.
I mean, granted, I love the classic Bat suit, but like The Beyond Batsuit is it just hits different.
I remember when I first started playing Arkham City, my sister loaned it to me because basically my sister and my brother-in-law couldn't beat the game. They couldn't get past the part with freeze. So they're like, here, like let's loan it to you, and you're like, you try to play it. That was actually what got me back into comics in general, was the Arkham games, because I hadn't played Arkham Asylum. I'd been kind of sleeping on it. I remember people telling me that it was really good.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in school, I want to say like 6th or 7th grade, when Arkham City dropped, a guy on our bus played it and told us the whole story with it. But like, I remember being like, okay, I'll play it. I like Batman. Started playing it, man, I got hooked, right?
Yeah, no, because Arkham City is fucking great.
Well, then what it was I bought the Game of the Year edition because I wanted all that DLC, right? And I bought it. I went home, installed the Game of the Year edition. I fired it up, and I'm like, it's like costume selection. I'm like, oh, what do we got here? And I'm scrolling, I'm looking, and I'm like, is that the Batman Beyond costume?
Yeah. Oh my god!
Saw that, and I was like, nope, this is instantly the one I want.
I want to say that was also a PlayStation 3 exclusive. Was that suit?
I don't think you might be thinking of a different one. There's another one that was exclusive.
You're right. Because I'm thinking of Origins, where if you wanted the Azrael Batman,
there was also a Gotham by Gaslight one that was an exclusive for Origins.
But if you wanted the Azrael costume, you had to get the PS3 version, because for some reason they said to make the.
But yeah, I just remember being like, "Yo, the fucking Beyond," and it had the wings and everything. I was like, "Yes."
No, like I remember that was a big selling point for a lot of people for that game.
So I was like, because I know a lot of people love that costume.
Yeah.
Like, just today, I was looking at buying a hoodie with that big red symbol over it because I love that costume so much.
Like, it's such a simple costume, but it hits
It just works.
Yeah, it just works.
It's sleek, it's sexy looking.
It has the retractable wings.
You can fire the batarangs out of the fucking
it can
wrist.
turn invisible. It has like the talons to it just looks cool.
The rockets in the boots, like it just is like it takes everything that was fantastic and like awesome about the original Batsuit, and just amps it up to like 90.
Like I remember I lost my mind during the two-parter with Clayface during Scott Snyder's run, where Lucius and Bruce get thrown into like a compactor to get rid of like their sensitive technology, and in that compactor was like a slightly older version of the Beyond suit. And so they're like, how are we gonna get out of here? And Lucius like, there's a prototype in here we can use to get out. And then you see Bruce come smashing through in like this Iron Man like looking bat version of the Beyond suit, and he's just like, why are we gonna get rid of this? He's like, energy costs, I'll tell you about it later. And I'm like, I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, and like I said, I love Batman Beyond to death.
No, Batman Beyond is
easily. If I was on a desert island and I could only pick like 3 shows or 3 movies to take with me and watch, Batman Beyond the movie and Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, easily 2 of those picks.
It's so funny to think that it did so, because by all rights, knowing what I know about how they were going to make the show, it shouldn't have worked.
Well, and they pitched it, like I watched a doc about it, like the way they pitched it to the meeting with Warner Brothers / WB, Bruce Timm was like, I pitched it thinking it was gonna fucking get shot down immediately, and they actually like approved it in that meeting. And he's like, usually it takes like months and months and months to get something even to get approved. This, we were approved and we had nothing. We had nothing. We had to go back and instantly be like, hey, we just got greenlit. We need to start putting this together.
Yeah, and what gets me is that it was done mainly because they were like,
we want a Spider-Man show.
Yeah, we want a Spider-Man show, and so someone was like, why don't we do it like 2099? Which was hilarious, because when Fox tried to do Spider-Man 2099, they did Spider-Man Unlimited. And,
they wanted to do teenage Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Timm was like, that was dumb. Nobody wanted to do that. It wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, which is why
that's why he pitched like having a younger guy be Batman.
Yeah,
and that's why he thought it wouldn't work.
Yeah, but
then it got greenlit anyway.
Well, and I think what made sure that would work really well is that they were like, he's gonna be like the sidekick of Bruce. Well, not the sidekick. Like, he's gonna be mentored by Bruce, like an old Batman. Because nothing makes anybody happier than seeing
the
like
samurai, turning his sword over. Like,
and
I think that's part of the charm of that series.
Yeah,
it's just that it's like it's the end of Bruce's life, but just because it's the end of that era,
well, it's
not the end of Batman.
Well, it's like the episodes say, it's his rebirth. It's like Bruce Wayne may be dead, but the Batman is not. Like like literally
yeah, they drive that home throughout the show so much.
Yeah.
Like we watched what was it? System Shock?
Yeah.
Was the episode we watched the other day where a computer program takes over the bat suit, so Terry has to fight it without it. And there's that scene near the end where Bruce is like, it's going to take me a while to reprogram the suit.
Yeah.
And Terry's like, I could use some time off. Terry, the suit's out of commission.
Batman is not. Which, that's great, Bruce. Terry's going to die if he doesn't have that suit. But no, like, and I think that's one of the bigger reasons is, moving into the next movie is they make it feel like it's like this, like the history of like
he's not pretending to be Bruce. This is a new Batman for a new Gotham.
But not only that, like there's so much you see the legacy too. Like it's not just the suits in the cave. You see like what's happened to some of Batman's rogues and you see how Gotham has changed but yet stayed the same, even though it's supposed to be the future. So
your rating, mine's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. 10 out of 10. In Phantasm, 10 out of 10.
And we've already talked about this way.
Yeah.
We still might do another. We still could probably squeeze another episode or two out of it.
Yeah.
Because
we love this show so.
We've never done the censored version, so we could always be like, we've never done the censored one. We've done the uncut, but as you know, kind of going off what we were talking about, the world has changed since your old Uncle Joker's been away.
Right.
New Gotham, new rules, even a new
Batman.
That's Return of the Joker. And this is my original cut from when I was a kid. This is the censored cut. I have 2 copies of this, as well as I think I have the DVD censored version as well, because it's getting to the point anymore. The censored version is harder to find.
Impossible to find.
Yeah, because they've never done it on Blu-ray. It's not on the box set, which I found weird. I was like, why not just put it on the box set?
Which is so funny, because when I was in college, the only way to see the uncut version of this
was DVD.
No. There was a time where the only way you could see this
was it an import?
Was clips of it from a Chinese bootleg.
I actually know what you're talking about because I've seen those clips when I was in high school. When we first got our iPads, because I was part of that very early wave of schools using iPads as textbooks and stuff. They didn't block our app store, so I had this app. I can't remember what it was called anymore, but it was like you could save YouTube videos and watch them offline. Yeah. I had that.
Well, I actually might even know what you're talking about, because
the whole flashback clip.
Yeah.
And it had the Chinese subtitles along the bottom. Yeah. That was that same clip.
That was the only way for a long time you could get the uncut version.
That was the only one I could get.
Was Chinese import
iPad.
/ boot. You basically VCDing.
And it looked awful.
Yeah, it really did.
I want to say this looks better than that.
Oh, absolutely, it does.
There's something charming about it, though. I'd love to get a VCD copy of that.
Once again, for those of you who don't know, this movie came out during Columbine, after Columbine.
It was nearing the end of Post when Columbine happened. And post-Columbine, everything got under attack by everybody, because they were trying to figure out how such a tragedy like Columbine could happen.
And so, of course, they blamed cartoons and video games and all the
music and just everything.
The usual bullshit.
That was partially what happened here, as well as just the fact they kind of looked at it and like, maybe we should tone it down a little bit.
Because when this was coming out, it was PG-13.
And this is not rated, by the way. The censored one is not rated.
Yeah, which back then cartoons could get away with, because it more or less meant that kids could watch it, but you're probably going to want to let the older kids watch it.
Well, you can tell where I used to. Yeah, you can actually see. I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera, but. No, it's not going to. You when you're looking at it at this angle, you can tell when I was a kid, I used to do that a lot to this, because I love doing that with these cases. That's fucking hilarious. You can still see that.
Yeah. But basically,
inside one too.
But basically, and to be fair, I think even Bruce Timm agreed to alter this, and so granted. It's really only noticeable in the flashback, because that's where it's
Yeah, there's numerous other edits. If you really want a rundown of it, go to moviecensorship.com. Just type in go to Google, type in movie censorship, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. It's one of the first results. It'll give you a breakdown scene by scene for every change and how long it is.
But for the most
wonderful website.
For the most part, other than the flashback, it's pretty fairly tame what the cuts are, because most of them are
they remove any mention of death or dying or being killed. They remove
impact shots. Like they had like white flashes whenever a fist connects to a face. They trimmed
the fight scenes down a little bit.
Yeah, they did sadly get rid of that scene where they did the rotation shot around Batman as he's fighting all the Jokers.
Fucking great shot. I love that shot.
I don't understand why they got rid of that, because like it looks so cool.
It's badass.
Yeah. But for the most part, you won't notice until you watch the flashbacks, because the flashback is so edited, and it's not just like some word change, and like there are entirely new scenes for the censored cut that you will not.
I remember when I was right around the time I got back into Batman.
Yeah,
that was something that I'd never noticed it.
Yeah.
You know, I had never heard of it. And then, like, I was looking up stuff about Batman Beyond. I was like, I noticed that. Like, I was reading the wiki article, and it's like censorship. I'm like, read through it, and they're talking about, like, all this stuff was changed. I'm just like, it's like that scene in Rebirth.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like,
no.
I had to hit YouTube immediately and be like, whoa, wait a minute.
Speaking of, YouTube is mostly where most of us found out about it, because someone from China put those clips up showing because, like, again, for a long time, all you could get was the censored cut. Yeah. It wasn't until, like, I want to say 2008 that they finally released the
And it was after a fan petition had gone around. They say, like, hey, can you release the original version?
Cut. And it's so funny, because nowadays, that's all you can find is the original uncut version, which, to be fair, I do prefer it, although I would have loved if they had just included it on the Blu-ray, because you can't tell me they couldn't have fit it in there. Mm-hmm. And given that they did the same for Phantasm on the box set, which was have the original version, have the TV edit version, they could. I would have loved if they had just done that and had both, or even just been like bonus features, censored scenes or something. Like have that version of the flashback on there. Yeah, especially because, like, my God, I actually argue the censored death of the Joker is
more
like,
brutal.
Yeah, because in the cut everyone scene, Tim is given the ha bang gun. The bang gun. And basically the Joker thinks he's so broken he's gonna he'll make Robin kill Batman.
Because it sounds like a great joke.
Yeah. But of course,
deliver the punch.
Yeah. But of course, Tim is able, because that's who Tim is, he's able to fight through the insanity that Joker has driven him, and shoots the Joker through the heart, impaling him with the bang flag, like he did the bonk. And, Joker, chokes on his last words, "That's not funny, that's not," and then dies. In the censored version, they try to imply that what actually Joker's gonna do is he's gonna
first Drake he's gonna hit him with the gas and make Batman into one of them.
Yeah.
Well, Tim throws the gun away.
Yeah.
And he kind of starts pushing the Joker back into that lab area.
Yeah.
It pushes him into a tank, which floods the floor with water.
And he gets tangled in a bunch of cables. And as the Joker's slipping, he grabs onto something to try and stabilize himself. It's the voltage thing he was using which is kind of weird, because in the censored cut, you don't see that scene where he's shocking Tim on the table.
Yeah.
So you're like, what's that for? Well, he turns on the high voltage switch.
You hear the voltage thing kick
and then you hear Joker scream as he's electrocuted to death. Which, granted, they don't show his body, probably because he's Kentucky Fried Joker.
Yeah. Well, while he's screaming, you see the scene of Barbara walking back into the.
Oh yeah.
That's only in the censored cut. That part of that scene that was animated purely for that.
Yeah.
And even the editing in the censored cut is very, very strange, because despite that, when we cut back to Tim Drake where he starts breaking down and crying, he's still holding the gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So the editing is very, very choppy and very sloppy on it.
Which is weird, because the rest of the editing is not that bad. But
it's just that flashback. It's very sloppy.
Yeah.
Or the part where Bruce throws the knife.
Yeah.
At Joker, there's no hole in the curtain behind Joker, but then when he starts laughing,
because he doesn't throw it in the sensor.
Yeah, he doesn't throw it, but the hole is still there because they didn't fix it.
Yeah, like basically, yeah.
I never noticed that as a kid.
It's noticeable when the Joker does the the come on when he.
Yeah, it's noticeable during that scene.
Yeah. But otherwise, like you probably
trimmed down Barbara beating the shit out of Harley.
Oh my god, no! Especially because they animated.
We found the cells for that.
Yeah.
And like the amount of anger in Barbara's like movements in that, she's gonna break her in half.
Well, especially because she she's one of the few people that defended Harley a lot in the show.
At that point, it was like, okay,
no, yeah, like
gloves are coming off.
No, that whole scene with her and Harley is so great. Like, Barbara's like, how could you let him do it, Harley? Okay, so he roughed the kid up, but I'll make it right. Yeah, your mother the stinking year. Like, that shit's so good, yeah. But, okay, I think we've talked enough about Return of the Joker because we've talked about it ad nauseum.
We need to just do a whole episode just to set you cut. That way we can squeeze another episode out of it.
Bottom line, regardless of what cut you watch, I would give Batman Beyond a 9 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for me.
I think it's that
good. 10 out of 10.
I also love people who try to tell me that this is the finale of. I always argue that this takes place in between seasons 2 and 3 of Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mostly because like the fact you don't see Max, which she didn't really become a character until like season 3 and part of season 2. So I always argue that this takes place either after season 2 or sometime during season 2. But anyway. And so we come to the last of our Batman animated series retrospective. Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. This came out super I want to say
2003.
Around the same time Justice League was coming out.
Well, I remember this coming out because by the time I found this would have been 2004, very early 2004 when I got this.
Yeah.
I remember being very excited when I found this because at that point the Batman show had come out.
Oh yeah.
And I fucking hated the art style for that.
Yeah.
As a kid. I absolutely hated that art style. I didn't watch the show at all because I was like, I had the same issue with it that I had with the new animated series for Spider-Man. I thought that animation was fucking ugly. And that's me as a kid. I thought that's ugly as shit. I don't want to watch that.
The Batman has some good to it. I will admit some of the designs in it are fucking weird. I'm not a big fan of the Joker design in that.
Yeah. But what I remember seeing this and being like, oh hey, a Batman movie. And I look at the back and I'm like, the good art style.
Yeah.
Gotta get this. I remember that very vividly, being so excited. Like, it's the good art style. They're doing that again.
But to be fair, I had no idea this came out in 2003. I didn't know about this movie until I was in college one day, and it was an afternoon. I didn't have classes, and I was flipping around TV, and I put Cartoon Network on, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this Batman movie with a Batwoman in it, and I'm like, this is BTS. Why does it look like Scooby-Doo? And why don't I remember this? Because at that point, like, Justice League was over. It ended too, and like,
I want to say Static Shock wasn't even on at this point, was it?
No, Static Shock was off air too.
Yeah, it was off the air.
Like Static Shock aired when I was
Zeta
in
Project
high school.
Was maybe on at that point, but did anybody watch Zeta Project?
Zeta Project.
Shit, you can't even find that anywhere.
Yeah, I think Zeta Project lasted like a season.
You have to get bootleg copies of that because I don't think they've ever released it officially.
Yeah, the only episodes of Zeta Project they've ever released are the episodes where he showed up in Batman Beyond because nobody fucking likes Zeta Project.
Bike Boy just went by.
Yeah. Yeah, we get it. You have a fucking bike. Thank you.
Riding your crotch rocket. It's a good way to get killed riding them damn things.
But yeah, one of the things I brought up, this was animated by the same studio that animates all the Scooby-Doo movies, and it's really apparent when you watch the animation because it looks.
Because I remember that, like I remember we've talked about that, but like watching it today, because I rewatched this because this was the one I don't remember all that much about. So I was like, I told him like, let me rewatch it first. That way I actually have something to offer, and I'm not just going off like 15 plus years of just memory. I actually thought the animation for this held up pretty well.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it just...
But I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I could tell it was done on the cheap side.
Yeah.
Like, there were a couple scenes where it was very, very apparent.
Yeah. Like, to be fair, I don't think it looks bad. It's just... for one, it's done with digital paint, like those Scooby-Doo movies. That's one of the things that I don't like about it. And I know that's because that at that point digital paint was the standard,
the in thing at that point.
but it's really jarring where, like, if you were to watch these movies back to back, which I have a 4-movie box set that has all the Batman the Animated Series movies on it, which also of course includes Return of the Joker. I'm just like, wow, you can tell that this was done years later, because man, like, and like I said, it's animated, it's perfectly fine. It's just, for one, this is one of the few I've seen more shots of Gotham in the day in this than I ever thought I would ever see, because there are so many day shots of Gotham.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, y'all realize this is Batman we're doing, right? But otherwise, I do think it's good. I
would say it's average.
Yeah, a part of the problem is the mystery of the Batwoman. Once you've watched it once, like, it's fun to watch, but like, it's really obvious.
Yeah.
Why don't you discuss the plot, since you've seen it?
Basically, there's a. I'm gonna try to summarize this very, very shortly. Okay, Penguin and two of his buddies.
Which I want to say one of them is Rupert Thorne.
Yeah, one of them is Rupert Thorne, and the other one is
Kathy Duquesne's dad.
Yeah, Duquesne. They're running an arms deal that they're trying to sell these arms to terrorists, and the Batwoman shows up and starts wrecking their plans. Now, nobody in Gotham is like, is this person working with Batman? To which,
yeah,
Gordon, they even asked Gordon, and Gordon's like, look, all I can say is she's not affiliated with Batman. Other than that, I have no comment.
Well, the other problem is the Batwoman's really reckless. Like, she endangers people's lives. She uses the guns from the arms dealer. And to be fair, I want to say they also made this because around this time 52 was happening. No, actually 52 would actually. This actually is before the newer Batwoman debuted, actually, because she didn't debut until 2005 after Infinite Crisis. She debuted in the pages of 52, which is wild here, because all these Batwomen in this are arguably straight. Which, if you know anything about, because it's so funny, because one of them is named after Kate Duquesne, the original Batwoman, and also
Kathy Duquesne,
or Kathy, yeah,
Kathy and Kate, two different characters.
Sorry, I always get those.
It's very, very easy to do.
Yeah. What's more funny, just because, like, you have this straight Batwoman, and then 2 years later, you get the awesome ass kicking Batwoman, who's also very, very gay. Which I'm not that there's anything wrong with that. Just it's kind of ironic that, like, but yeah, but yeah, and so basically
this tape was manufactured 9/26/2003.
While this is going on, we're introduced to 3 new female characters. One that's working for Batman, or for Bruce. I want to say it was voiced by Kelly Ripa. I remember Kelly Ripa's like one of the. A new female policewoman who. I want to say her family or her boyfriend was killed by.
Her family business was burned down by Rupert Thorne. By Rupert Thorne. And the DA can never make.
Yeah, that's right. And the girl that works for Bruce, her boyfriend was framed by.
Yes, Kelly Ripa is in this. She plays.
I'll say she played the blonde lady that works for Bruce.
Yes, Dr. Roxanne Valentine.
Yeah, she plays Dr. Roxanne Valentine, who
as well as Detective Sonia Alcana and Kathy Duquesne. Those are the 3 new introductions.
Basically, once you see all 3 of them, you know they're all 3 of them. Especially because every time the Batwoman appears, she has a different fighting style and also has a different voice. Basically, the 3 of them have each been affected by the mob in some way or shape or form. The detective, like you said, had her family business burned down by the mob. The doctor that works for Bruce, her boyfriend was, like, basically took the fall for one of them. And Kathy is the daughter of a crime boss, whose mother was killed basically because her father was a crime boss.
Yeah.
So they all come together to decide that they're going to stick it to the mob, which always works so well in a Batman story.
Yeah. Especially when, because their business is getting hit, Penguin calls in a favor from Bane.
Which, and it's the BTAS Bane, which is one of the designs I fucking hate.
Well, and also, this film is the only time in the DC animated universe that Paul Williams and Henry Silva did not voice the Penguin and Bane, respectively. Because those two voices, I noticed that immediately upon rewatching.
Yeah.
It's like, that is not the Penguin's voice. I know that immediately.
Because I want to say this is also the new Batman Adventures Penguin, who's voiced by by Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Because Penguin actually had two different voice actors, but
Batman, Batgirl, what is it with this time of water?
what next to Bat Hound?
That was fucking Bullock.
Yeah.
Killed me. I forgot all about that line.
Yeah, because they
Killed
reference
me.
Ace, which is hilarious because Ace doesn't exist until Batman Beyond.
It's just one of my favorite things is the Penguin being like, what is it about this town of water?
Well, I also love
Look
that.
who's talking.
I also love that scene where him, because this Penguin in the Iceberg Lounge, he has all these like lovely ladies that are his
bodyguards, basically.
Yeah. Well, I love it because they hear one of the thugs getting the shit beat out of him by a Batwoman. He's like, "No, masked vigilante attacks the patrons of my bar," and then he hears he's like, "I didn't hear nothing," and he just goes. Also, that thug he constantly gets his ass beat by Batman working for Duquesne.
The blonde guy?
Yeah, and then Batman breaks in, and Duquesne's like,
shuts the door.
yeah, he sees Batman. He just,
fuck this.
and the guy's like, "You see anything?" Nope.
He's like, I don't need to get
I'd
fucking
be destroyed again.
tonight.
Nah.
No thanks.
That, my God, they made Kathy in this so fucking hot. like that scene where
this was even more heightened to where Bruce Timm was just using this as an excuse to just write, like, to draw just
to the point where
oversexed art in
to
this.
the point where there's a scene where Kathy just is swimming and comes out of that water, and I'm just
like it's like a scene out of like a Bond movie, and it's like, Bruce, really?
Yeah, I'm like,
really, Tim?
Especially because she looks like Jinx from Die Another Day.
Yeah, I'm just like, really, my man? This is a kid's movie.
Although, oddly enough, I did like Kathy. I kind of wish she'd gotten
I
a
like
stick.
all of them, honestly.
This is also, more or less, this movie is just an excuse to explain why the Beyond suit looks the way it does.
Oh, because of the red chest symbol.
Well, it more or less is just like the Beyond suit when you look at it. Like to the fact that it has like the mouth sewn into the cowl, the eyes.
It's not picking that up very well, but even if you just Google it, it's
like
very noticeable.
Well, and to be fair, like they even because like the hover scooter she has is more or less what the Beyond Batmobile is based on. The restrictive metal is clearly also used in the suit.
Well, that and at this point the Justice League show was on, and they had shown the now infamous Batman Beyond yellow suit in the background because they just reused the cells.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw it in the background, they just changed the color.
Yeah.
And ever since, people have argued like that's the prototype for the Beyond suit. It was yellow, and then later he changed it to have the red symbol.
Which, to be fair, I'm fine with that because like it's not like it contradicts anything. You could just, especially because
it works. I've seen Batman have a million fucking costumes at this point.
Well, then you could always argue because like Terry's like it looks. He said it for being an antique. It still looks like it's pretty high tech. I always argue that's because like it only looks that way. That like Batman modified the suit like
constantly.
Even though he's no longer Batman, he still tinkers with the thing. Just because he like, what else has he got to do? He's an old man that's retired.
Well, you remember what he said in the System Shock episode? He's like, I don't remember it taking this long when I did it the first time.
Which I'm like, it probably that and probably because Lucius was either that or one of Lucius's kids helped him with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what anybody says, Lucius's kids like have to exist in this universe. They probably helped him. But yeah, like I said, it's perfectly fine. But like you agree to, like once you know the mystery,
it's kind of redundant.
Yeah,
it's very much it's a glorified episode of Batman,
Yeah.
the animated series.
Then once again, I fucking hate the Bane design. I'm like, well, I didn't like the BTS Bane design either because they give him a mouth. Like, don't give Bane a mouth. Like, the costume Bane had in Nightfall looks really good. It's a luchador, but like, I hate that they always have to fuck with it. Like, I don't understand why. Like, they always fuck with Bane when they... Like, even the Batman fucked with his design. I don't understand what the problem is with Bane.
Yeah. Like I said, I enjoy it. It's very, very average.
Yeah.
More so than the others. So, like, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I enjoy it. It's not bad by any means, but it's very, very...
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, too. It's very bog standard.
This is kind of like that lull period where the DC animated stuff was kind of like...
Yeah.
Either really good or really average.
Really average, yeah. Especially because, like, I want to say, like, that at that point, while they didn't make it, like, it was during the time, like, Justice League was coming out, and they were very much more focused on Justice League.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even really get why they made Mystery of the Batwoman other than just to explain the Beyond suit.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
Which
like...
wasn't even really that necessary.
Yeah, because, like... I didn't really... Yeah.
Well, actually, no, you want to know why they made this? The Sentozu game had just come out.
Okay.
So this was produced to promote it. Because I remember, because the trailer for that game is on the tape.
Gotcha.
And I used to love that fucking trailer.
Yeah. No, I can imagine.
Always wanted that game, and it was never for fucking PC, because at that point I didn't have a console.
Yeah.
And then, like, years later, I was in a GameStop and spotted it, and I'm like, I gotta fucking buy that. I've always wanted to play that game. Then I played it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, this is fucking hard.
Yeah. I mean, at
Even
least
having 2 people on that shit's hard.
At least it's still better than Batman Dark Victory. Or, there's some shitty Batman games, but, like, problem is...
James Rolfe's covered them all.
Yeah. Well, so the problem is, for, like, unlike Superman, Batman's actually had decent games. I don't really understand why, but, like... that, or like how like Spider-Man has had, like, I know everyone's like complains about certain Spider-Man games, but to be fair, Spider-Man's had a lot better games than some superheroes.
There's at least been quality control.
Yeah, it's not like the Game Boy Advance Flash game where if you die, you can like continue, but I think your game's permanently, you have to start over if the Black Racer catches you. Like, they literally have it that, like, the Black Racer chases you if you die. You have to, like, run your way out of the afterlife. Which I'm like, that's so needlessly complicated.
Yeah, just give me a fucking continue.
Like it's cute, I'll give you that, but, like...
So your rating for Mystery of the Batwoman?
Oh, 6 out of 10, same as you.
Okay.
That
really does it. I mean, like I said, that's pretty much everything. I appreciate that I got a chance to show off my collection of shit from when I was a kid once again.
Yeah. If you don't want to watch every one of these, I recommend
Phantasm, Sub-Zero, Return of the Joker.
Yeah, because those ones are like, especially if you're watching the TV show, those ones are the most important you need to watch anyways.
Yeah. Well, and I don't include World's Finest or the movie because if you're watching the shows, you've already seen them most likely.
Yeah, especially Rebirth. Like, you've seen Rebirth. Like, if you're watching Batman Beyond, you've already watched it.
Yeah, you've already seen it.
Mystery of the Batwoman's okay, but like, it's just like, it's not one of those ones I pop on, even though I like it. Unless I really want to watch the swimming pool scene. I just like watching fucking Batman beating the shit out of people in this fucking movie. It is pretty good. There's some good one-liners in it too. Yeah, then that scene where Barbara is talking to him at school, like, maybe I could come and you're going through a tunnel. Like, sometimes it amazes me at your narrow escapes. Shut up. No, then the fact that, like, I will admit, it's the only movie with Tim in it where he's not being psychologically tortured. Yeah. Yeah. Basically. That as much as I love BTS, they do Tim so fucking dirty. Especially because, like, it's not even Tim. He's a fucking fusion of Tim and Jason, which I'm like, thanks. I mean, thank God he at least got to have, like, some decent screen time in Young Justice. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's not Tim. It's usually just Dick wearing his costume because it's less goofy looking than Dick's actual Robin costume. Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. We've talked ad nauseum. Let us know what you think about these movies in the comments. Which one is your favorite? And why is down below? And why is it Mask of the Phantasm?
Or Return of the Joker.
Or Return of the Joker? Because pretty much...
Argue why you think the censored cut's better, and we'll debate you and be like, okay.
You know, it's also a shame because, like, almost no one... Like, the only three anyone talks about is Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Superman movie...
And Return of the Joker.
Return of the Joker. No one talks about the other ones. I mean, granted, with Rebirth, it's probably just because it's... But, like, it's a shame, but... Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Come back next time when... We're going to do something...
whatever the fuck we do. But until then, guys... I'm Average Joe Squad.
And I'm Zongetsu134.
And as always,
we ask you.
Remember the hyphen.
And take care.
What is it with the show? There's something in the water?
What next? Remember the hyphen hound?